Next up is myself, a update of the Shantytown, which I started back in 2023 when I moved to, when I downsized my home and tore apart 15 years of the rustic buff and old Gothic. This was the first scene I started on. This is an overview. This covered bridge was from the previous layout, the original rustic buff and old Gothic. Everything else you see here is new for the new railroad, the new version 2. So these are all scratch-built structures. This is a Frenchman River Model Works resin kit. This is a scratch build of my own. So I'm just going to show you some of the, I'm going to show you the Shantytown, basically building by building. I started back in June of 23. I moved into the new house just 2 months before. Shantytown has 12 unique scratch-built structures, 1 kit bashed from Foggy Mountain Models, 1 guest structure from Alan Carroll, he passed away in 2022, 3 Frenchman River Model Work boats. I regularly swap out my scratch build for one of the fishing trawlers from Frenchman River, a scratch-built crane skiff, and there's over 120 inches, 10 feet of scratch-built fencing. That's a lot of strip wood. And there's 51 figures and 3 dogs. They're all Arttista. So that's the stats on Shantytown. As soon as you walk into my layout room, this is the first thing you see. There's a standard gauge line right next to a narrow gauge line. And I'll show you why I do that in a moment. And then I put up a billboard there with these period advertisements. Advertisements like this, billboards can date your layout. So you convey, mine is, for example, 1930. So I search Google for 1930 advertisements. Reason I put that O gauge, standard gauge, 3 foot 8 1/2 inches right next to my On30 line with 2 boxcars is this is an easy way to explain what narrow gauge is to a visitor. They're both O scale, but one is considerably smaller than the other because it's narrow gauge. It just takes that mystery out of trying to explain what On30 is. This is that kit bashed Foggy Mountain Models. They make it as a depot. I made it as a maintenance shed, put my Arttista figures there. See how I've weathered everything, weathered the track. The devil's in the details, yeah. This is moving to the left towards into the layout room. That is my John Allen scratch-built On30 O scale engine house. There's another shot of the John Allen engine house. It's instantly recognizable to model railroaders that visit my layout that it's a John Allen themed engine house. Again, more billboards to date the layout, to place it in the late 1920s, 1930. This is a heavily kit-bashed Broadway limited locomotive with a whaleback tender and all kinds of details added from Weissman Models. It actually now runs. I bought a sacrificial unit and placed a new drive in here. Moving more down in towards Shantytown is the Milford Hotel, named for where I went to high school, Milford, Connecticut. There's the Shantytown Depot. There's a nice close-up of it. Again, everything's heavily weathered. Well, not heavily weathered, weathered. And again, more signature advertisements. There's an overlook. You can see the To the right is the John Allen engine house, a series of billboards so you don't see that backdrop photograph right at the edge of the layout. That's a technique. So in my layout, that photograph backdrop, you never see the edge of the layout. I always have either a building or a fence or something to give the illusion of depth. This is a nice shot looking down from the engine house. This is where I'll be because Jim made me the host of the show. This is future place. I featured this structure on New Tracks some time ago. It's a condemned structure. At least this one's condemned, and these are well run down. This is only about an inch in depth. It was made specifically for this spot. There it is with train going around the tracks. I don't have a lot of time this evening, but I like to do Mr. Brennan will talk about this, how you create a story within your photograph. So we got a train coming here, a guy walking his dog, this guy looking over. This adds visual interest to the shot, makes you, Al Judy was a master at creating these little scenes. They tell a story, imaginary story. Let your imagination run when you look at the scenes. I urge you all to book passage on the Titanic or the Lusitania. Very safe, very fashionable ride here in the roughly 100 years ago. This is in front of the depot, little shoe shine thing. This is looking down the road that leads to Shantytown. I have all these bait shops, which I whimsically named after Gilligan's Island. That's Gilligan's 3-hour tour bait shop. There's Thurston's bait and tackle. Some fortunes go up, some go down. Little humor. There's a lot of detail on here. And these, like Mr. Brennan said, these are all composed photographs. These aren't Tom snaps a photo and pops it into PowerPoint. There's a lot of lighting involved, a lot of cropping, there's a lot to this. Now we're into Shantytown. This is Jim Kello's Seafood. Fresh, 7 p.m. every Wednesday. These are the menus: New Tracks Modeling, Build Along, The Caboose, The Rustic Buff and Old Gothic. This is more of Shantytown. This is the 1930, the height of the Great Depression. So everything on my railroad has, everywhere you look, it's basically run down. There's hobos, tramps, all up and down the line. Clothes hanging on the line, people passed out. That's my son, Lieutenant Commander. Nice close-up. This is floor tile, the old-fashioned floor tile. I don't know what it's made out of, hopefully not asbestos, but I just took some pliers and snapped, snap, 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 snap. Then I built the wall with super glue and painted it, weathered it. Little fire. This is wood from the front yard, just cut. Everybody's having a grand old time. There's no jobs to be had. A lot of people lost their homes, lost their livelihood. If you move forward to the bait shops, it's an industry you can model. Another bait shop there on the left. These guys are playing cards. Skippers. This was featured in a build along, a Watch Me Build a couple years ago. So I've weathered all the boards. Nothing fits correctly. Everything's hacked up and down, and barnacles are nothing more than ballast that I painted gray. I cast resin here and put Mod Podge on top. Everything's just highly weathered throughout the layout. Consistent look of, well, it's the Depression. The Professor's fishing tackle. More tramps here off to the side. Passed out. An old car, basically abandoned, weathered. Now a view of the harbor. This ship is removable. This is scratch built. This is a Frenchman River Model Works resin kit. There's another view of the harbor. There's the other Frenchman River Model Works fishing boat. So at any time I can swap one out for the other. This one's fixed in place. And this is a Frenchman Rivers model as well. It's basically a sunken boat. These piers are set here so that the boats don't run into the railroad's bridge. And everything has an advertisement on it to further date the railroad. Another composed. Every photo you've seen is basically composed. I encourage you, I know I'm off the beaten track, but anybody that would like to see the Rustic Buff and Old Gothic version 2, I'm about an hour south, 45 minutes south of Indianapolis. I've had a few visitors. There's a close-up of my scratch-built trawler, and that this was all imagineered by me. These are metal washers. That's a dowel rod. That's just plastistrut. And that is a overview. And I took this photo this evening. See the debris on the shore. I'm going to add more debris here. I mean, model railroads are never complete, but I did want to get when you enter my railroad room, at least 6 to 8 feet of this somewhat complete. And I'm working right to left.